Aquaman is directed by James Wan, and this is the sixth installment in the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. And a little bit of insight on the DCU. From my perspective, I haven't enjoyed one since Man of Steel. I have found disappointment in every single one, and I really, really haven't liked this series so far. Batman v Superman, the massive colossal disappointment, to the also massive colossal disappointment of Justice League. I'm getting fed up with this series now, and I am happy to say we actually have a decent one. Yay! Yeah, Aquaman. Was this a good movie? I'm still thinking about it. But this movie was fun. I really enjoyed myself. I have a lot of negatives, I have a lot of issues, but there are some praises to say. Yay. And let's start off with the great things. Visually, this movie is stunning. The CGI is fantastic in this movie. It looks like Avatar. It's so cinematic. It's so awesome to watch. The action sequences are incredibly well shot. These amazing long takes on these real sets with incredible cinematography. The direction is fantastic. This is a really fast-paced movie. There's hardly a second that drags in this entire film. And unlike the other DCU movies, I found the pacing to be the weakest thing in every single DCU movie, even with Man of Steel. And this one actually feels like a proper structure of a film, and it has solid pacing. There was no boring elements. I found nothing boring, which is a great thing. And I found some of the bits underwater incredible. How their hair moves, how their bodies move, how the action sequences are. There's incredible cinematography under the water, and there's so many incredible action scenes. And this is a visually incredible film. This is a film that's just worth seeing, just to see some incredible direction and some incredible scenes. I really, really liked that. And it was just fantastic to see. The story was well done. It was okay, it was fine. It was a okay plot, it worked. There's some moments that I really liked. The musical score I thought was very good. And yeah, they're the positives. There are some more, of course, and it is a fun film. It's a film that I really enjoy. But it does have a lot of issues. Starting off, this movie sort of feels a lot like Black Panther and Thor, and it has very, very familiar plots to the MCU, and it also feels like they're trying to push some comedy in there, and it really falls flat. I know Aquaman is a very cheesy and wacky character, especially in the comics, and I really wanted to see that in this movie, and I did at points, but the tone really feels out of place in this film, because there's some elements that feel so cinematic and so epic and so like, yes, this is awesome, but the cheesiness and the swacky tone, just, it doesn't mesh very well. I think they either could have gone for the more serious route or the more wacky route, and they sort of did a big mixture of both, and it just didn't work. The two villains in the film, Black Manta, I loved the look of him. I think his suit looked fantastic. I loved some action sequences with him, but the character was immensely weak, and the same to said with Ocean Master. The character was immensely weak. The performances were fine. There's nothing bad to say in this movie. I'd say everything I'm saying that is a negative. These aren't bad things. These are just things that could have been improved and are a bit lacking. But there's actually nothing bad in this movie. And for a DCU movie, that's very surprising to me, because I've found very bad things in every single DCU movie so far. And to see one that I really have nothing bad to say is something actually really good. Yes, the movie has a lot of issues, tonally, structurally, and especially with the characterization, which I'll get into in a minute. But this movie is visually stunning and exciting and fast-paced, and I enjoyed myself watching this movie, and it was really, really entertaining. And getting into the characters, Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, plays a weird character. I didn't really like him in Justice League. I found him just awkward, and I found the dialogue to be awful. But in this movie, it's basically the same. But he has no emotion to him. He has nothing that makes him stand out. And to say this movie is all about Aquaman, it's all about this character, they sort of don't develop him at all in this entire movie. He stays exactly the same from the first time we see him to the last shot of the film. He hasn't had any development. The only development he gets is that he gets new trident. That is it. That is the only development the character of Aquaman, the main character of the film, gets in this movie. And I found that extremely lacking. They could have put so much more development into his character, and also the other characters as well, especially with the villains, which I thought were very weak, but I still enjoyed them. I enjoyed watching them on screen. I enjoyed watching Jason Momoa in Aquaman, telling some terrible jokes. I enjoyed some of the other characters as well, but the characterization and the writing here is very sloppy for these characters. It doesn't make you care about what's going on, but it does make you just have a fun time watching the movie. And I can say that this movie is, script-wise, not great, but what you're seeing on the screen is a lot better than what's going on behind the camera, sort of thing. Like, this movie has nothing to say, like films like Black Panther, which are very similar to this one. It has nothing unique, but I enjoyed it. It's not a bad film. It's very entertaining, and I'm just really happy with this movie. For being finally a DCU movie that is worth seeing and is a good time, and that's a very good thing to me. And I enjoyed Aquaman overall. It's definitely not a great film, definitely not, but it's an enjoyable film that tonally doesn't work, but it has some incredible sequences and just allows the audience to get hooked and have some fun. Overall, I'm going to give Aquaman a B and a 7 out of 10. This was just a fun blast of fresh air from the DCU, and I perfectly enjoyed it. Guys, comment your opinions down below, and of course, thank you for watching, and goodbye.